It's always a pleasure, of course. I want to start with this situation between Ukraine and Russia. I observed yesterday, after a weekend of watching the Biden White House explain to us how it's next to certain that at any second now Russia's going into Ukraine. And I understand the buildup that's happening, as I'm sure you do, Congressman, and I understand the danger zone that we're in. But it's almost as if the Biden White House is anxiously anticipating this. It's just an odd way that they're presenting all of this, when common sense would dictate that we don't believe anything militarily is going to happen until at least after the Olympic Games, at least if China has anything to do with it. Give us your overview, and what is Congress saying about all of this?
Well, folks, thanks for having me on the show. I think the intentions of Putin are pretty clear on this one, and I have to be a little bit careful about classified sources, all that stuff, right? But I think it's safe to say there's probably an 85-90% chance that Ukraine, there's a full-on assault. As far as Congress, it's for the most part, this has unified Congress on this issue. Vladimir Putin unified the EU. He's unified NATO now, although there were some hiccups early on, and I can dig into that if you want, Matt. But the Congress is pretty united on the mechanism forward, and that is no boots on the ground in Ukraine, lethal aid as much as we can get it and get it to them as quick as we can get it. And then as far as the threat to NATO countries is concerned, and as he builds up in Belarus, well, you just don't know. That's on the border of Poland. So we're sending troops, to Poland and Romania. And I will say that after having served in Iraq and Afghanistan with the Polish army on the ground with us, responding to our attack on us, a member of NATO, they responded to their Article 5 obligation. We have that obligation now to them. So, putting those troops in Poland while he's building up in Belarus is just the right thing to do. And I think most everybody in both sides of the aisle seem to agree on that.
What is the United States of America willing to do, in your opinion, Congressman? You're so well positioned to speak to this because of your military experience. What are we willing to do outside of material or monetary support for the Ukrainians, if anything?
I think that's about it, to be completely honest. They're not an ally. They're what I would consider an economic partner. They're a democracy, though, and what we're looking at all over the globe is this assault on freedom and democracy, whether it's Nicaragua or Putin, and he's already started a war. This is actually a continuation of an invasion that already began in 2014 when Biden was vice president. Across the globe, you got Xi Jinping and all the mess they're doing, the 34 aircraft that flew into Taiwanese airspace. We have to push back as much as we possibly can. But again, I just don't think anyone, well, first off, the Ukrainians aren't even asking for it. They feel like they can fight and do this as long as they have the equipment.
Mark, I know that your time is limited, so you tell me when you need to go. But quickly on the domestic front, I know that you have submitted H.R. 6564 that would prevent federal funding from going to any U.S. school that stops in-person learning due to COVID-19. At this stage in the game, we're looking at Gavin Newsom rescinding mask mandates, although he didn't do it for K through 12. We've got this debacle in Georgia with Stacey Abrams walking into a school where the children inexplicably have to be masked 8-9 hours a day, and she just doesn't wear one. Talk to me about the specifics of the Keep Schools Open Act.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really the idea came to me when Chicago's teachers union voted to go back into at-home learning. We have statistically shown from every study that in-home learning is bad for students and especially bad for those who are socioeconomically challenged. So they're harming children after taking all of the plus-up money to make schools safe. So these school systems took the federal dollars to make their school systems safe for COVID and then still chose not to go back to school. And as far as I'm concerned, that's stealing from the federal government. So What we've done is if they don't go back into school, we've granted the governor's power, and we have mandated that money be taken away from that COVID preparatory money be taken away from those schools that refuse to open after accepting that money.